the Eclipse. I mean, they said he'd go to the Eclipse again. So there's been a lot of changing with this horse, a lot of, changing of plan, changing of routes. Maybe it was all because things showed up at home, I don't know. But for me tonight, he's just a little bit short in the betting for me. There's no doubt he's a talented horse. I think we were in Ascot, Laura, when he actually ran and won that day, and he's a very impressive horse. But is he one of these horses that can be impressive when everything's right and can be a little bit disappointing? I don't know. I just think we might find a couple better here tonight. I think there's a lot of sentiment around him being the Shadwell horse. I think they want him to win. They need him here. I think he's good, but he's a third or fourth type of horse for me.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I think it might just be a race or two too soon. I do have him down as a future Group 1 winner, though. As we look at the track 4-hour Dubai turf, I think we've covered most of them. I just think 𝘿𝙪𝙗, I love how lightly raced he is and his profile. He's the one I'm going to stick with. Which one did you come down on in the end, Edgar?
Well, as an outsider, and one we didn't get to talk about, was Sir Busker. I just thought, I spoke to William Knight the other night and he fancied him a lot. He got in here at the 11th hour. It was literally the Monday after his good run in the 𝘿𝙪𝙗. He was fourth and he got in by the skin of his teeth. But he said he's been improving out here with every week. It's done him better. Remember, he is third in a Queen Anne to Palace Pier, which is serious form bringing to the table, and a previous handicap winner in Ascot. So as a real long shot, I like him. Apart from that, I'm going to take a wild chance and go with the Fletcher horse.
Okay, you really are going for a couple of outsiders. Richie, you're sticking with Mahafeth?
Yeah, I just like his profile. I think, like Ed said there, the stop-start campaign would have a lot to do with what has just happened, and the Haggis team are very shrewd on this horse, and they obviously think obviously sentimentally wise, it would be a great result for the Shadwell team as well.
It would be wonderful, wouldn't it? Shaker Hissa been here looking at her horses earlier on in the week, and she's a lady with a lot of support, a lot of sentiment towards the Shadwell team, who also, of course, have that horse in here, Hakiki. Good luck to John Hyde, his first runner on this card. They're nearly all in then. It's our Dubai Turf of 2022. Can Lord North win it for the second year in a row?
𝘿𝙪𝙗 wins, and Lord North will complete the lineup for the Dubai Turf, sponsored by DP World. Out goes Lord North. Set for a start. Gates are back, and they fired away, and Mahafeth didn't get away well. Gave away a couple of lengths. 𝘿𝙪𝙗, first one to break, goes off to the early lead. 𝘿𝙪𝙗 will try and get across. He's second for now. Then comes Harrovian, who races away in third. Desert Fire hugs the rail, got a nice position in fourth. Saffron Beach is in the red colours in fifth. 𝘿𝙪𝙗 on the yellow, races away in sixth, half a length in front of 𝘿𝙪𝙗. Then comes Lord North, the blue sleeves with the white chevron, racing a little bit deep for now. 𝘿𝙪𝙗 is in and amongst runners. 𝘿𝙪𝙗, white sleeves and cap, is at the wide outside. 𝘿𝙪𝙗 was next best. Then comes Mahafeth, who's recovered. He's not at the back of the field anymore after blowing the start. A length and a half away to Hakiki, and Sir Busker happy to watch on from the end of the field. Well, 𝘿𝙪𝙗 loves to let rip, but he's just keeping a lid on things by his standards. He's a two-length leader at the first turn, 1,000 metres out. 𝘿𝙪𝙗 races away in second. Desert Fire, the all-blue colours, is third. Saffron Beach at the outside of Harrovian. Then comes Lord North, who's trying to get a wriggle on. 𝘿𝙪𝙗 on the yellow colours in a bit of a pocket. 𝘿𝙪𝙗 also tries to work into the open. 𝘿𝙪𝙗 being nudged and nurdled along. Then comes Mahafeth, who's three-quarters of the way back. Sir Busker, 𝘿𝙪𝙗, they next best. Mahafeth, and further back in running, then we find Hakiki, but they're homeward bound. And 𝘿𝙪𝙗 in front by two, balances up over 𝘿𝙪𝙗, who's second. Then towards the outside, Lord North, Saffron Beach, 𝘿𝙪𝙗, red cappers towards the outside. They reach the final 200. 𝘿𝙪𝙗 in the lead. Lord North on the chase. 𝘿𝙪𝙗 is third. 𝘿𝙪𝙗 2 lengths in front. Lord North trying to double the dose. 𝘿𝙪𝙗 not without hope. 𝘿𝙪𝙗 crying for the line. Here is the line. It's desperately close. What a finish. 𝘿𝙪𝙗, Lord North, 𝘿𝙪𝙗, a three-way go. Fourth also tight. Saffron Beach, Sir Busker. Then in behind them was 𝘿𝙪𝙗. Towards the inside was 𝘿𝙪𝙗 on. 𝘿𝙪𝙗 didn't lift. Further back to 𝘿𝙪𝙗. Then came Harrovian. After them were the likes of 𝘿𝙪𝙗 Minor. Hakiki was next to finish. Desert Fire and Sir Busker. One for the judge. 𝘿𝙪𝙗, Lord North and 𝘿𝙪𝙗. I don't actually have an instinct. It's desperately close. 𝘿𝙪𝙗 head down, head back up. Oh, I can't tell. That is so close. Paul Devlin, the ball's in your court. Panther Lasser, Lord North, 𝘿𝙪𝙗𝙖𝙞 fourth, goes the way of Saffron Beach. 𝘿𝙪𝙗𝙗𝙖𝙞 was next to finish. Then came 𝘿𝙪𝙗𝙗𝙗𝙪𝙗𝙗 𝘿𝙪𝙗𝙗𝙗 got into the clear, didn't lift. Then came 𝘿𝙪𝙗𝙗𝙗𝙗. They were ahead of 𝘿𝙪𝙗𝙗𝙗𝙗 𝘿𝙪𝙗𝙗𝙗𝙗 was next best. And no numbers in the frame just yet. Panther Lasser got away. He grits his teeth 100 meters out. He heard the hooves of Lord North and 𝘿𝙪𝙗𝙗𝙗 closing in. It's Japan, or the UK. That is as good a finish as you will ever see. Has Panther Lasser held on?
What a finish to our Group 1 Dubai turf. Did it go to Panther Lasser, Lord North, or was it on the outside last year's second 𝘿𝙪𝙗𝙗𝙗? Brilliant finish, Richie. I can't tell. You think Panther Lasser's hung on?
I'm not sure. Looking at the still frame, it looks like the inside horse. I think either way, it's a Japanese horse. Oh, I don't know on that frame.
That's not necessarily on the line.
Well,
it says unofficial for a reason. That's not what the stewards are looking at right now.
Well, I thought it. Yeah, one way or the other, we thought it was a Japanese horse, but I kind of thought my first thought was the inside, but on that still frame, Lord North has got it.
This is a race that's thrown up a dead heat in the past. Paolini and Right Approach way back in the day. So you never know.
Here we go. There's a good angle.
Hilary Udale, our judge, will maybe take a little bit of time over this, because the image on the big screen and our image on the TV are not the official photo finish camera. That's the crucial thing you've got to remember. The crowd are cheering. I'm not quite sure for which horse. It was a brilliant race anyway. Panther Lasser, we knew he'd be the speed. I didn't think he could last home, but maybe he did. And then what a performance. Win or lose, to get Lord North back from nearly a year off the track, tremendous.
Well, the handicapper got it slightly wrong, dropping him after. But they said that was a really good derby. It was course record, that winter derby in February. And we've the good form update now for Alan Curran, our next. I thought the outside bobbed. I dismissed Lord North completely in that. I thought it was a bob of inside-outside, but I don't know. It's one thing for sure. Oh, here we go.
All they've done is put up a photo between Lord North and Panther Lasser. They've made 𝘿𝙪𝙗𝙗𝙗 third, so they've decided 𝘿𝙪𝙗𝙗𝙗𝙗 a third. But I think because they put Lord North's colours up first, which is alphabetical, I imagine, the crowd have decided that means he's won. That's not the case. It's just photo, provisional results. They are still looking at between Lord North and Panther Lasser. And we wait a little bit longer to see if Frankie Dettori has won this race for a third time, and if Lord North enters the history books as the first dual winner, or whether Panther Lasser, whether it's just a dream night for the Yahagi team, whether they get a third win. Yutaka Yoshida, the jockey on board this one there, he is. So the judge is going to take a fair bit of time over this. You don't want to be getting it wrong when it's a $5 million prize. 𝘿𝙪𝙗𝙗𝙗 one spot worse than last year. John Gosden probably doesn't know either. Saffron Beach is fourth. Jane Chapelheim, I imagine, will be over the moon with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that'll set her up for a big campaign in the summer back home and around Europe. I think she's run a cracking race. She was always well positioned by Holly. She was just tracking, I think it was Todd Pletcher's horse, 𝘿𝙪𝙗𝙗𝙗𝙗. She was in the right spot, and I'd expect her to improve from that run. So first run of the year, very good run, and like I say, I think there's exciting big things for her going back home into Europe.
Also would open up possibilities of her going to 2,000 metres maybe as well. Sabuska fifth, Edgar. The syndicate will be so happy with that, Kennett Valley.
They're such a fun syndicate. They're fabulous. They cheer and they enjoy it. And you've always been such a campaigner for syndicates and a big pusher of them.
Syndicates can't afford to own a horse outright.
Well, whether it's that or otherwise, the point is they're part of the modern game, and it's very important that they do well, and they're represented well tonight. He tucked out as he always does. They've gone a good clip. I was a little bit disappointed with Colonel Liam. He flattered to deceive at top of the bend, but Sir Busker ran exactly the race that William Knight thought he would. He said to be pace, he dropped him out and he'd stay on home, and he justified his place here tonight. I'm glad they got in. Big run.
This is quite interesting because this is Panther Lasser. The jockey stayed on. The jockey looked to me as if he was headed for the winner's enclosure, and then one of the paddock stewards said, it's not decided yet, you need to circle here. Whereas Lord North tack off all sorts. They've almost like they've resigned themselves to second the Gosden team, which is quite interesting. But
I think it's wise after such a hard race that they unsaddle him anyway. Frankie Wisely's jumped off Lord North and he's getting his customary cool down. I think that's just a safety factor. The stewards have asked both jockeys to get off and you know, let the horses cool down. I mean, they've put everything into it. You know, it was probably one of the greatest finishes we've seen in racing in Meydan in recent times. I think the last one was possibly on to Peter in the World Cup when Gloria DeCampio won. So I don't think we've had...
Don't forget Thunder Snow, Gronkowski was pretty close.
I think, yeah, but a three-way photo we had.
A three-way photo,
I
yeah.
think we had... there was a horse of Mike de Kock, Gloria DeCampio, and I think Ahmed Ajebi was on the inside of...
Ahmed Ajebi was there on cars.
Ahmed was on the inside, so it was a freeway photo.
I'm too young to remember all that.
It was catching up. It was heartbreaking because Kevin Shea thought he'd won on Lizard's Desire and celebrated accordingly. It was very heartbreaking.
I think that's because Ahmed told him he'd won.
We have had one dead heat if I remember rightly, here at Meydan. Came in a local race a few years ago. They're not commonplace, and I'm not necessarily expecting one here, but judges are taking their time. And obviously, Rich, in your career, you've won plenty of races by short heads and noses and things. How often do you know you've won? Do you think that any of these jockeys will know?
I think I've got beaten more of them than I've won. There's sometimes you'll go past the line and you'll have an idea, you'll think you've won. And there's been many a times, I think I've been beaten in 2 photos this year. I thought I'd actually won, and you know, I'd question the photography. But there's other times you kind of know deep down, and certain tracks, you know, that the angle of the track, it favours horses on the inside. Abu Dhabi, for instance, always favours the inside horse in a photo, even when you have one flashing home. So here, I think it's a tough one, and that was a tough photo. It was hard to... My first thought's where the Japanese horses held on. So as a jockey, you kind of have an idea. You think you might have done enough, but then you would always side on the air of caution and not go into the winner's enclosure until it's called anyway.
That's exactly what we've got here. 2 horses circling behind us. Connections waiting on nervously. John Gosden looking not particularly nervous, to be honest. He's a confident chap. But either way, these horses have run brilliantly. Super training performance by all concerned. Panther Lasher had come in here off the back of a win in the Nakayama Kinen, as we mentioned last time. And same race won by Just Away. And Lord North came in off the back of that Winter Derby. I mean, it does move up Elenqua in the next race a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, regardless of what the photo does, it's just form. It's just an unbelievable form, because he's given him 2 lengths in the Winter Derby, and given him a good victory that day. And it was his prep coming in here, and we know Lord North runs fresh, but Allegra, you know, probably needed that run. So yeah, and remember, that was a 1.25 miles on the dirt as well. So Alan Corr is going, you know, farther. He's going to the 1.5 miles next, which will suit him even better. So he was at a disadvantage against Lord North in Lingfield, and a very sharp, fast speed track like Lingfield over 1.25 miles. So yeah, it's a big plus in a few minutes. 2004
was that dead heat in this race, right approach and Paolini.
I think we could well have the longer this goes on.
Way, yeah.
The longer this goes on, I would be airing for the side of a dead heat at this stage, because generally they will normally have the photo by now. And in fairness to both horses, I think if you ask both jockeys, they'd settle for a dead
Frankie
heat.
Frankie Dettori's already been asked and said, yeah, I'll settle for a dead heat.
I think they'd settle for a dead heat, and like I say, the longer this goes on, I think
it's announced.
Dead heat.
It's a dead heat. Fantastic. Yeah. Lord North and Panther Lasser, UK and Japan. We will have 10 winners on Dubai World Cup card. On the Dubai World Cup card this evening. Brilliant stuff. Neither horse deserved to lose. Fantastic training performance by John and Thady Gosden, and just as fantastic by Team Yahagi, their 3rd winner of the night. Tremendous stuff. Panther Lasser, he's a very popular horse. He's a son of that great Lord Kanaloa. Let's hear from one of the winning jockeys.
Yoshito Yahagi, congratulations, dead heat victory, 3rd win of the day. What a day for you.
What a day.
He went to the lead. That was the plan the whole time. Did he give you a bit of a nervous ending there, a bit of a thrill?
最後、作戦では逃げっていう形だったんでしょうか。最後もっと逃げるつもりだったけど、ナイターを気にしたのか、いつもほどの行きっぷりじゃなかったですね。Our plan wanted to go more far in the front, but I think horse a little hesitate in the light, so it was, that much lead.
Yeah, he didn't. He gave them a little less distance there. So this year, this past 6 months, it's been huge for you. You've obviously Breeders' Cup, Saudi, Dubai, and Hong Kong. Like, what is the key? What your yard has done so well.
いろいろそれを聞かれるけど、俺にも分かんないし、俺に教えてほしい。
Honestly, I don't know why. Just please tell me what is reason.
Well, congratulations again, big victory.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
What a night for Yoshito Iyahagi. Many thanks to him for talking to Mikey there. I suppose we were a bit too late here for our winning jockeys because they'll be preparing for the next race, which isn't a million miles away. That was great fun, waiting for the results of this photo finish. Totally contrasting paths through the race. Edgar, of course, 𝘿𝙪𝙗, as we expected, was on the speed.
Yeah, on the speed the whole way. Jumped out, and I actually thought he was going probably quick enough. Especially when I saw 𝘿𝙪𝙗 off it at the top end, I thought this guy is, he's really gone fast. But Lord North's tracked him there. He's in a lovely position in the middle. 𝘿𝙪𝙗 on the outside and going, but he flattered it very early and straight. Saffron there tucked in about 5th, so all the main horses were just tucked in. She's watching Lord North, and a lovely ride, as you said, Richie.
That's Harrovian, yeah. Lord North's in about 8th there, I think.
Yeah, coming through.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, no, well,
it's the same colours, but it's a white cap. It's James up in, I think he's sitting 2nd or 3rd, is he?
3rd there, yeah.
Yeah. Frankie's further back. I think Frankie's sort of keeping an eye on was it Christoph that rode the other Japanese runner, Schnellmaster? He was just in front of him, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, they looked like they went a nice pace, and I think the pace kind of eased off around here. They were able to get a breather into them, which allowed the rest of the pack to get back into it. But like you say, they're all,
so Lord North is coming between just coming into
Lord
midway
North
now,
is he's just in front of Mohafa at the back. Yeah, he's just through the middle of them there. He just kind of switches out now.
Yeah.
I thought your Mohafa travelled really well, Richie, for a long way.
Travelled really well, and yeah, we're kind of going back to, is he one of those horses that travels really well and doesn't seem to find anything? I'd give him the excuse that it was his first run of the year. It got a little bit messy when the pace slackened off around the turn. There was probably an excuse that, this is a stepping stone for things to come, but ultimately he's looking, I'll agree with Edgar, he's looking like a horse that seems to travel extremely well, and when push comes to shove, isn't really finding what we're finding. Ultimately, is he a horse that they eventually decide to come back to a mile? I'm not quite sure, because they skipped the Derby, whether it was problems or whether they thought he wouldn't stay.
Funny, William Haggas actually said that after the Hampton Court. He actually made that comment when asked, because he was in the Derby, which way they go, and he said, well, one thing for sure is we won't be going up.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting angle, Richie, to come back with him a little bit.
I'm just looking at him now and I'm thinking, potentially he's probably a miler.
Yeah.
Like I say, he travels extremely well, and isn't really, is he finding that, or is he just emptying out and he's running out of oxygen, running out of stamina late on? So I certainly wouldn't be worried coming back to a mile the way he travels through his races.
And then of course when you're looking at him if you're at the wrong trip in a grade 1, you're going to be doubly exposed. I mean, if he drops back to a mile and maybe comes back in grade a little bit, I presume he'll get him back there around May time, and maybe drop him to a grade 3 and get that confidence back up, because that's where he's showing.
He could do, and the interesting thing, it'd be interesting to see if he doesn't aim him at something like a Lockinge, the first Group 1
coming up in the start of
May,
middle of May, yeah.
Straight mile, he might be better on a straight track as well.
That's true,
yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they go with him, because I think William Haggas has got an embarrassment of riches as it comes to his older horses, and obviously you try to separate them, a bit like Charlie Appleby with his 3-year-olds last year. You're trying to sort of separate them, so whether he's the one that he thinks, right, we'll come back to a miler, we probably don't have a miler going forward. This horse shows all the signs and all the right credentials that he travels well through the race, and like I say, if he doesn't, then he's looking quite vulnerable at this stage.